Good morning, everyone. Welcome into another episode or day or whatever you want to call it. Welcome into another tape read. So today's Friday. We don't want to push the stick too much now. You want to end the week nicely. We've had a pretty solid week. Um, so let's keep it that way, right? It's not aim to do some Olympic feats, right? All right. So logged in. Right now, nothing interests me. Why? Because we have to pay attention to our economic calendar. Economic calendar has a 10 a.m. high impact news coming out, 3 red folders. So I'm waiting till that time. This trade right here is just forward tested, which even if it was something we had an opportunity to get in, you would not got filled, right? So something I'm just paying attention to. Market has already expanded quite a bit at open and taken all this buy side here, right? But my ultimate targets are on the daily, like we've been targeting all week. This target on ES, and then this also lines up with NQ's targets here and here, and this daily inefficiency here, which is my main target for the week. Now, I do want to look at the weekly chart because it is Friday, it's the end of the week. So we can, what am I doing? That's a daily. We can easily expand, right? Higher to fulfill a nice bullish candle. I'm not expecting like a massive retracement, but we'll see, right? Because I just don't see any sell side that's super clear besides these lows. But we didn't take those lows yesterday. And if we go to the hourly, we get a better idea of how we're looking, right? Here. We don't seem to have no SMT here, right? This is the only SMT that's been holding to push us higher. So I don't really see an interest for us to come lower, especially on just today, for us to sit down. So I do want to see these highs taken, and then this inefficiency met on NQ, and then this high taken on ES. If that high gets taken, I'll probably call it a day. And if I don't get a setup into there, then I'll just probably call it a week, because I don't need to push the envelope today, right? You want to make sure you end your week, especially if you're green, just end it nice and softly. Don't try to push it. But here's our 10 a.m. news driver. I want to pay attention to that. This candle injects a little bit more volatility. I would prefer for us to, since we've created this 5-minute gap and we have an order block here, right? I would prefer a nice deep retracement, some form of structure manipulation on the 1 minute, and then see if we can displace higher, right? So that's what I'm looking for. So a down move on this news driver would be ideal. And then some type of manipulation inside this order block area, right? And we don't have that gap on ES. So something I'm paying attention to. We're also inside this macro right now from 950. 950 to 1010 right there, right? So this macro right here that we're in, I want to see what we do in this phase. Are we going to distribute lower than just to pump higher, leaving more engineered buy side here, or do we come work something down here, right? I'm not too clear yet, but I just know that this is what I've been leaning towards all week. So that's why my bias is a little bit more bullish than it is bearish, but I am a little more neutral as well today. Not super clear on the bias, because again, we can just retrace and start displacing lower, but the hourly looks really bullish. I can expect us to come into this order block here. right? This would be a good area of interest for market to come down before heading higher. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. We did not even tap that 5 minute, right? That's just displacing. Let me look at the 5 on regular contract. Regular contract, we did tap the 5, yeah. So on the mini contract, that 5 has been tapped. We're displacing out of that, it's fine. Not a big deal. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So this is why it's important to have also your regular contracts and you're looking at them, because look at NQ. It did dig into that 5, and on micros, it did not. Right. Okay. Mediocre for value gap, not interested. But this can take us up there. Just not enough for me to feel confident in this trade. Offers you 1 to 2, but I feel like almost like these trades are like, how would you explain them? Pretty much like inducing setups, or like, okay, right, this might follow your criteria, but after you've had some time in the market, you kind of just have a, how would you describe it? Like an intuition type of observation that then you can be like, no, that's not something I would be interested in taking. Like, even if it works out, I'm just not, I would be a little upset if this lost, right? And now reasons why is like we don't close above this wick and we don't have a follow through candle with this candle. It's a weak down close candle. Yes, we do create a fair value gap, but again, not interested. Remember, the trades we've taken on the previous days are really explosive, really energetic fair value gaps, right? So the daily target will be met right now. And this entry would just be too premium for me. Like, is it even worth it? Like, what if we only go up to here and then we're done? It's not even a 1-to-1, right? Your 1-to-1 would be all the way right here. Is that worth your mental capital, your actual capital, and putting risk on the table? I would rather see some level of manipulation lower first and then some displacement. But there it is. The target will be met. Again, happening during the macro, but not a trade that would interest me. Let me just see. stop loss below the gap, as you expect this to be a quick entry. You're risking 340 for now. No way. Not for that trade. Okay, macro's gonna be over soon. So now we've swept our biggest point of interest, right? We have not tapped into the daily for a rally gap here. But now this is this will kind of show us if we are going to be going up into here or not. Gosh, let's see. Do we have anything for us to move lower? No, this looks really bullish. Yeah, it could be a long wait. Now you're faced with two decisions. Since one of the targets hasn't been met, you can either just call it a day here, go enjoy your day, go do something else. I just probably go to the gym right now, but you can also wait to see, give it maybe one more hour and kind of see what price does, right? And if in 1 hour we don't see anything clear, then you also call it a day, right? Because even though this technically is a setup, this isn't clear to me and it's too premium. Where based on a couple days ago at the beginning of the week when we took a trade with premium, remember what happened? We got cooked on that trade. So I've always gotten, there's a high probability I lose when I take a trade in a premium than I win. So I'd rather just not risk it trying to take that trade in a premium, because some will work out, like this example here, right? And you place your trade and your stop placement is below the low. Some people I know would put the stop below the candle that's creating this, but you still have this order block here that can retrace to. So maybe below the bodies right there, and then you can target your buy side there, giving you a 1-to-1. The trade is not super attractive, but it works. 1-to-1s are likely to hit more than your 1-to-2s, right? But I'm just not interested because of this closure. If this setup would have happened maybe down here, right? We would have had a nice displacement manipulation, like lower on news and then displace higher. I would have loved to take that, but it didn't. It didn't. And then same thing here. We had an opportunity here, but nothing presented itself. And it's also prior to news, so no way I'm taking that. I'm waiting for this 10 a.m. candle to drop. At this point, I just kind of want to see this target met so I can be done for the day, because, yeah, I wouldn't be interested in trying to push the envelope today. I just end the week up on the week and then just call it a week. We have another week coming up next week. Let's check it out. What are we doing? We got Monday, December 8th. No news. Interesting. 10 a.m. We have news on Tuesday. I still trade these days that are no news. I'm just more cautious. Kind of trading it like today, even though there is news, I'm still just more cautious, right? Because the start of the week, some of these no news days have been some of the best price action I've seen. So I don't ignore them anymore. I used to ignore them. I used to take the day off, but I think once you gain some more experience, you're more than welcome to just at least observe. And worst case, it just becomes a tape reading session, kind of like today's looking like a tape reading session, where you can just forward test, look at trades that potentially would have played out, and then just pretty much add them to your background, to your experience. Um, so yeah, so Wednesday, let's see what we have. We have 10 a.m. CAD news. Doesn't really matter. Oh, we have FOMC Wednesday next week. So this day might be a little choppy prior to FOMC. I'm probably not going to trade Wednesday at all. So I'll trade Monday, be done by Tuesday a.m., and then come back Thursday. Yeah, because then we have a nice pre-market unemployment claims. That'll be nice. And then Friday we have another no news. Sweet. So this is the plan for next week, guys. Trade Monday, trade Tuesday, only morning session. Take Wednesday off. Probably go golf. Finally, I've been trying to go golf for the past month. Um, Probably go golf on this day instead, and then Thursday come back look for this pre-market news driver. This is likely to create a nice high, a nice low. We can target those data highs and data lows depending on the market narrative, and seeing where we're at next week. And then we have no news Friday, which will also trade just with caution. Once this is met here, I will be off the charts because this is my ultimate target. And there's no need for me to be chasing anything or trying to find anything in here that's just not going to be worthwhile, right? You don't want to just stress all your mental capital on a Friday. Go enjoy your weekend, come back Monday, and we got a brand new week to start off. These are the habits that you need to implement in order for you to see some level of consistency, in order for you to feel better about your trading. I think they're non-negotiable. Don't try to force things. The second we try to force things, it's typically when we get the adverse effect, and it does not happen. Almost like Murphy's Law, everything that can happen will happen. And if you're just constantly thinking, oh, shoot, I might get chopped, or I might get caught into consolidation, or I might take a loss because markets already ran without me, you probably will, because now you're just feeding that into your subconscious mind. So understand your own psychology, understand how much detrimental damage you do to your mental by negatively talking to yourself, and all this stuff. So just understand what you can do and what your best option is within your best interest, right? At the end of the day, no one cares more about yourself than you. At least you should, and you know what the best decision is to make. You can stay on here, which is option A, and continue to push the envelope, see what you can get. And I'm sure there might be a setup. Maybe if you wait 3-4 hours, there will be a setup. But is that worth your time? Is that worth the reason why you're doing all this? The reason why you're doing all this is for the freedom, for the access to your time. So now you're telling me you leave your job to be glued on the charts all day and try to push the envelope on a day that's likely to deliver anything else besides your target already, right? And I'm not saying the market can't run. Of course it can. That's out of my control. But for me, my narrative has been met for the week. Like, this is a narrative we've been building all week, right? This is what we've been recording on these live sessions. We're continuing to push higher. We're holding this fair value gap here Monday. We respect it. What do we expect next candle? Based on candlestick logic, we expect some level of manipulation before displacing higher. And what do we get? Some level of manipulation here. It comes to the discount of this wick, and then we displace higher through this high. Now we want to see if this high is going to be respected, but we do have this inverse now that we're holding. So next day we come tap into the inverse as well with this order block, and then we continue to displace higher. Following this bullish order flow, it's clear indication that higher probability trades are in the direction of a long bias. right? So yeah, I mean it's fairly simple stuff. The next day we also come back into this order block, tap it, and then we start displacing. Right? There's trades in here. It's just choppier action. Excuse me. And then today, of course, we continue to displace through. Our target's been taken. Our final target's going to be met. Can we reject from here? Absolutely, we can. Where can we reject to? We can start rejecting all the way down here if we wanted to and take all this sell side we've been building throughout the week, right? For next week, maybe, or for, I really doubt it's today. But it can happen. Something fundamentally can come out in the economy or in the news and can cause that driver to send us lower. Um, for those that I was looking at gold with a buddy of mine yesterday. He wanted to review gold, and yeah, it moves exactly the same. I mean, everything is algorithmically delivered. It's beautiful. But yeah, so let me go back to um, Bitcoin here. Cool. So yeah, we currently have Bitcoin at 91,000, and then we have Ethereum at 3141. I really like Ethereum bouncing from this area here. Again, why? We've been discussing this. Don't understand. Oh, is that Siri? No. So we've been bouncing here from this inverse rally up. We got the breaker, and we have the fair rally up here to the upside, the buy side imbalance that's been fully rebalanced. Now we can start displacing higher, right? And if we are going to fulfill this overall sentiment fundamentally that the market has right now about Ethereum reaching higher prices, what are the logical prices that we can see Ethereum reaching to? Well, let's just look at our standard deviation. Standard deviation 1 states 6,834. These are the logical prices for Ethereum to reach to from this push up higher. And then we have our second standard deviation, which lines up with the fundamental type of sentiment of $10,000 per coin, which would be the 9,560. So I'm not saying that's going to happen now, but I do expect if we will push higher, we definitely will get to those levels. And that's why that's one of my biggest positions for my investments is Ethereum. I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum, been bullish on Ethereum the whole year, been buying Ethereum earlier this year, or on the front half of this year. And I have not kind of stopped buying. I've been buying this whole time. First time I bought it was a little bit high. I'm sure I've discussed this in previous videos, but I did buy around here, right? Aiming for these highs. And so I bought close to like 3,700 around there. And then we get a little pump higher to 4,000. I'm like, okay, I made the right decision. And it was more of a FOMO impulse buy. I'm not going to lie. And just being honest, I bought my first coin there. So as soon as we started dropping, I was just looking at, okay, what PD raise do we have? We have this rally gap we created on monthly. So I added a little bit more here at 3,000, right? I didn't buy at one coin at a time anymore. I was just buying like a couple $100, every time I open my app. And then boom, dropped all the way low. Once we swept this, then I was able to buy more, and this was a little bit more attractive. So I was able to buy a lot more because of the price being lower. Then we drop all the way down here and we sweep this liquidity. This is where I did buy a couple more coins because of this price. And then on another account, I was able to get some more coins as well. At this price, it's kind of ridiculous not to buy, especially after sweeping the liquidity at 1,500. And then boom, we just start going displacing higher. I am watching this Civi, right? Because we can reject lower and come in to take all this sell side. So I'm not fully convinced we go higher here yet. But then once we see this huge displacement, it's inevitable to kind of convince yourself that we're going to all-time highs. And sure we do. All-time highs from 2021. So yeah, that's kind of the, how would you say? What happened with Ethereum for me for the past, so I've been in Ethereum since I had been in Ethereum over here in 2022, and I just sold because we didn't do nothing, right? I think I broke even around this time. I sold, and then I didn't get interested back into looking into like around this February. I was like, okay, we had this big pump. Then I started looking at the charts again, or I started looking at Ethereum, and then we just consolidated. So it wasn't really interesting to me. We'd go to 4,000, then back to fucking 2,000, and It was just like I was like, no, that's too volatile for me. But then I started looking at everything through a more like long-term perspective. Like these cryptocurrencies do have an adaptability for the overall economy, and once the Federal Reserve and all these different type of political backings were backing it up, I really got into cryptocurrency, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy something for the long term. I should, in hindsight, I should have held all my positions here, right? Would have been nicely up, but who would have known? During this time, there was a huge crash too. The 2021 down move, we had it for like a whole year. I was in a lot of stocks here, lost a lot of money, right? So I've learned my lessons through investing and holding stocks and stuff like that and choosing individual stocks. Um, yeah, so I've made my fair share of incorrect choices. And that's just part of every investor's journey. You're gonna lose money. You're guaranteed to lose money in this. So when people ask to learn and can you teach me and this and that, if you're not prepared to lose money, you should not probably get into this, because you will 1000% guaranteed lose money. There's no one that just starts just making money and goes. And if they do, that luck is gonna run out and eventually you will start losing money. And then you're gonna feel like complete dog crap because then you're not gonna be like, oh, I thought I had this down, right? And then you just continuously lose for a long period of time until you start to see some results and then okay, cool, you're just stagnating back and forth, and then all of a sudden you start seeing some nice results. You think you have it, and then market humbles you again. You start seeing nice results, market humbles you again to all-time lows, and you start feeling like, dude, I don't think I could do this, and then it just starts working out, right? This is actually a really good chart representation of what trading could be, your overall learning curve or your overall consistency curve, right? At the start, you're really, really, really amped up about this. You're hyped. You have this massive amount of dopamine and norepinephrine coming into your brain because you feel good that you could potentially make money off just clicking some buttons. And then you have this huge spike of luck and you feel amazing. And then all of a sudden, like, you have a week of down and you're like, what the heck am I doing? And then so forth. And it follows and it follows. You get a little lucky again. You're like, okay, maybe I do know what I'm doing. And then boom, my market just humbles you completely to all-time lows, right? And you spend a lot of time in this area. It's very lonely. You spend a lot of time like kind of trying to figure yourself out. What the heck did I do wrong? I was so good and blah blah blah. No, you weren't. You were just getting lucky. And you still have a lot to learn. So this is where you do all the learning, right? And this period could extend for time and then go lower. And depending on your choices and your disciplines and how you adopt and how you practice your consistency, this could take a lot longer than it needs to. And then you finally start seeing some consistency, and then you start getting stuck again. You make impulsive choices, you get impatient, boom, back to all-time lows to learn the same ideas you've already learned. And then we just place higher, you start feeling good, and then boom, you make the same choices, you get greedy, you get overzealous, and then boom, back down, right? And it's not until you learn that you're going to see a nice curvature up. So let's see what we're doing over here. I think today's my last day being sick, hopefully. Um, I've been kind of sick all week, slowly. Like my voice came back. That's why I've been back on these videos because before I could not even talk, man. I was still going to the gym either early in the morning just so I wouldn't have to talk to people and stuff. Where I was just doing my own workout, like going for a walk or a run or something, and then just trying to squeeze in my weights when I could. But there was like 2 days where I could not even lift anything. I was like pretty weak. It was one of the worst times, right? Because you're so used to your schedule and you get knocked off your schedule that you feel like, yeah, man, what the heck? So here we came into this 5, tapped it, we're displacing, not showing any type of meaningful displacement. I don't care about this. NQ, let's see what you're doing. Same thing, no meaningful displacement. I would actually like to take something here, but only if we manipulate really, really low and then wake. So if we were to come down into these two gaps, these 5 minutes, manipulate lower, we still have our ultimate target up here. So I would be interested in seeing if we can get up into that. Yeah, because I think that's an SMT with NQ. for this ultimate target that we have right above the civvy. This one right here. Yep, it's an S&T with the S, right? It's lower. So we had an S&T there, which just broke. I can expect to see this target met, but I need to see some level of manipulation first. So like a really nice down close candle, come in, mitigate this unbalanced price action, and then wick, and then we can see some 1 minute structure to the upside. That would be the most logical thing to take. The most logical thing to put some risk on, probably low leverage, just to ensure that you can still be a part of this move, but not. Well, it depends on the setup, really, how it looks. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. I have a meeting to hop on as well, so I might not be here for too long. Let's see. I think it started already, but well, it starts in a bit. Okay. Okay, so we've tapped into these for valley gaps here. I want to see a nice deep retracement. We got 1 minute 23 seconds. Let's see. Mm.
You can't say that for 30 seconds. I know. I wanted to let you know. I know you're excited though.
Okay, I'm gonna mute this real quick. Hold on. Okay, so we do have this trade here. Let's see how much the risk would be on just. We're gonna lower our leverage because no way I take that with full leverage. And then we're targeting this inefficiency here. We can lower it to, yeah, that's solid. Let's see.
Order filled.
What's the target? 87850. If this doesn't work out, we're off the charts. All right. We're only risking very little leverage. Only reason why I'm a little skeptical about it, we're just consolidating after the expansion, but technically the setup is there, so I'm willing to punch it here and give it a shot, right? That's how the trade looks like. All right, because that's been our target for the week. So now that we fully mitigated this low, I feel comfortable moving my stop to that low and then just waiting for us to expand here on this next candle. Why expansion here? Because we've mitigated both these inverses and this busy. So if we get stopped out here, I wouldn't mind. This is a decent trade. Only thing that I'm looking at is that we are in this consolidationary period after the expansion, but we're so close to the target that I'm willing to punch it after we've had that nice tap manipulation. I see this as manipulation to induce people into going short, right? Just for us to displace higher, create an opportunity here, and then go ahead and let us in to target higher prices. But I would need to see a displacement here. If not, then this is probably cooked. This should be a rather quick trade to either side. I'm gonna go get my shoes on and get ready for. I'll just leave this on right here. It's probably gonna get. We'll just let it do its thing.
Order filled.
All right, so we took a stop out there. Very small trade. I am done for the day. We gave it a shot to try to see if we can get up here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, guys. I just wanted to kind of do a quick review. The best thing would have been not to take anything, obviously, especially after this consolidation, but we gave it a shot. The setup was there. I'm not upset at this. It's just likely to get stepped out. Now, what I want to see is if we would have left our stop at the original stop placement, does this work out? Right? Because this is something that I'm. Because if that does, that's going to be a pretty important lesson to learn here and be able to pay attention to. Right? Because we moved our stop to this low after we mitigated all this. And we want to see if the original stop would have got stopped out. If it did, then We just saved a little bit of money there, and that's fine. But if not, that little bit of money cost us this trade. Something really important to note. So, yeah, it was right there. How long have we been on here? 43 minutes. Let's see the loss on that. $69. That's not bad. I'll take that. It looks like, yeah, original stop still would have got stopped out. So if you would have re-entered off impulse, ugh, ugly, right? We're consolidating after this expansion. Again, this mistake I have made before. So it's something to really take a step back and reflect on. And good thing now we have the rest of the week. I'm not taking any more trades. But this must be reflected on because I made this mistake multiple times, and I think I've talked about it. I've talked about not entering after we had an expansion move, and what did we have? A big expansion move. What are we likely to do? Consolidate. Did we manipulate deeply into this? No. Technically, I saw this as manipulation here because we had a displacement lower, creating an entry for people going short just to get stopped out, and then we had a nice clear entry here, right? On the 2-minute, it also looked pretty clear, right? It's not the worst trade. I do like it, giving it a shot here, but it resulted in a small loss, and I'm glad I used low leverage because it's Friday. So best thing we could have done here is not taking any trades and just called it a day, because now this deeper retracement can be the manipulation leg, and then the next candle can displace higher, but I'm not going to be waiting for that. I'm just going to call it a day here. Right. But thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this was insightful. Know when to stop, and just be able to call it a day. In a perfect world, I just don't take a trade today, right? Because this is just not okay. Would have saved myself $69. But it's not the end of the world. We're still up on the week. We risk a little bit of profit to see if we can squeeze out some more. And that's what trading is all about, But ensure that you learn these lessons, right? Because it looks like I still haven't learned this lesson. So I'll be paying attention to that next week, trying to avoid trades after consolidationary periods and not really like trying to find something when I know the target is up here because we're still probably going to go up here. But at the end of the day, we don't have to do it right now, right? The time is 10. We could do it right here at 10:50 macro, displace lower and then displace higher and whatnot. So hopefully you guys found this video insightful, learned something. Check out the SMT here, right? This could be the SMT that takes us higher. There's so many could be's, and this is where people get tilted, or you can start getting into that fogged idea of, dang, the market just came from my stop and now it's going to go. So just best to just get off the charts, log out, and call it a day. No need to continue to push. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.